Fishing boat docks. What type of dock should you look for to have the most success catching fish? Good morning, guys and girls. May 16. May 16, be reading out of a Catch a Better Life book on the Catch a Better Life channel. This is a devotional that I wrote a couple years ago. Well, I actually put it out on the market about a year ago. It's got a scripture for every single day. It's got a devotional built around fishing, and it's got a fishing tip for every day. So you're going to become a better fisherman, and you're going to become a better person. Catch a Better Life, your life is going to be better. If you're not subscribed to the Catch a Better Life channel on YouTube, hit that subscribe button right now. Share it with as many friends as you possibly can if you want your friends to have a better life. Because I promise you, God will do that. God will do that. This is the most important channel on YouTube. Not the biggest by any stretch of the imagination, but the most important. We're looking at the book of Job. You remember Job? Job, the guy that had troubles. Sometimes we feel like our life's like Job. Can I tell you, it's not even close. He really had serious problems. Job 12:12 says, "Wisdom is with aged men, and with length of days, understanding." Real simple. That verse is so simple. It means that the older you get, the wiser you're going to become. Not going to get any smarter, but you're going to get wiser. And you will have more understanding about everything. You'll have more understanding about God, more understanding about your marriage, how to raise kids, more understanding about everything. You gain wisdom, you gain understanding as you get older. I remember fishing a bass tournament on Lake Eufaula in Oklahoma. And there's not Eufaula, Alabama. There's a Eufaula in Alabama or Georgia. They both claim that lake. We have a Lake Eufaula here in Oklahoma too. Huge, huge lake. And I was fishing this tournament around 1970. I believe that was the year, because I remember Jamie was born that particular week that we fished that tournament. And Chris had him at that tournament when he was like 2 or 3 days old. And it was over 100 degrees, and people said, "Oh, you can't believe you got that baby out of there." And she spent the one night in the hospital to have that baby, and then brought him to the tournament, brought him over to the tournament. My first day draw in that tournament was Pee Wee Wadsworth. Pee Wee Wadsworth. He didn't have his name written on his boat where it should have been, and that's back about the time we started putting our names on the side of our boats, 1968, 69, something like that. Started putting our names on our shirts. Now we put them on our trucks, on our boats. We put them everywhere. He didn't have his name written on the side of the boat where he should have been. On the side of the boat, it just simply said the old pro. That's what it said. It didn't say Pee Wee Wadsworth. It didn't say Pee Wee. It said the old pro. Needless to say, I learned a lot that day. I mean, I learned a lot. Get this, we took my boat. He didn't ask to flip a coin. It's the lake that I knew pretty good. We fished all of my spots where I was catching a lot of bass, plenty of bass on a spinnerbait. I knew I was going to do well in that tournament. I had a good shot at winning. He immediately, when we got to my areas, started catching bass on a small crankbait. That's right, started throwing a crankbait. I told him exactly, I showed him, told him I gave him one of my Redman spinnerbaits. He started catching fish on a small crankbait. After he had caught 2 or 3 fish, and I had like one bite, he simply said, "Jimmy, you need to throw a crankbait when the water is falling, when the water level is dropping." The lake had been up high and it was getting lower a little bit every day. You need to throw a crankbait. That's a good rule of thumb that I've adopted. I learned that right there. I adopted that rule of thumb. I made the top 20 in that event and collected a really good check. I think I actually finished 7th place, if I remember correctly. BASS held 2 tournaments on Lake Eufaula. I finished, I think, 7th in that, and the other I finished 2nd. Roland Martin beat me in that one. John Dixon was 3rd. Roland beat me by 12 pounds. That's right, 12 pounds. Not this tournament, another tournament, the other tournament we had on Lake Eufaula. I was 14 pounds ahead of John Dixon. If I hadn't been in the tournament, Roland would have won by 26 pounds. But Roland didn't win this tournament right here. I think John Haydad won this tournament. I'm not positive, but I believe he did if I remember correctly. He said, "You always throw a crankbait when the water was falling." I made a check because of that. I had a lot of fish found, that little help he gave me. But what I learned from Pee Wee, the old pro, was a lot more important than the money that I got. Far, far more valuable. In the same way, it is smart to spend good quality time with older Christians. Older Christians in your family, older Christians at your church, older Christians at work, older Christians in your neighborhood. Spend quality time with them. Why? Because you can see what God has done in their lives. They have wisdom because of those years. They have understanding because of those years. and they can tell you things that God did in their life that was amazing. You know, I have the opportunity to speak at 15 or 20 churches throughout the year. And people ask me often, what do you talk about when you go to a church? You talk about fishing, you know, what do you do? And all I do when I go to churches is I talk about what God is doing in my life. What God is doing in my life, because God is always doing something. And when you visit with older Christians, it's going to allow you to strengthen your relationship with God, because you will see amazing things that this awesome God has done in other people's lives. And you just know He's going to do the same type of amazing, awesome things in your life. It'll strengthen your relationship with Him, and you'll go about every day expecting a blessing from life. This is really important, because life's going to throw some really bad stuff at you. You're going to have some really bad things happen in your lifetime. Bad things happen health-wise, maybe. Bad things happen family-wise, financially-wise, with your job, on and on and on. The devil controls a lot of this earth. And he's going to attack you, and he's going to cause some bad things to happen in your life. You're going to need to have a strong relationship with Jesus. And you can gain so much from those older Christians. Here's our tip for today. We was talking about docks. Isolated docks. That's right. That's the one you want to look for. Isolated docks will normally produce better. What does that mean? That means that if you fish a lake like Lake Tenkiller, where I live, Table Rock Lake, Lake Texoma, just about all the man-made lakes around the country, it's got houses on them, also have a lot of boat docks. You can have a cove, it's got a big long string of boat docks, and they might be pretty good. But if you can go and you're going down the lake and you look and there's a cove, it's got maybe one boat dock or maybe one on one side, one on the other, pull in there and fish those two docks. Those are probably going to be the best ones. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. Make this day a winner no matter what the world throws at you. And remember, I sure do love you.